Welcome to the Fun Around Podcast, coming to you live from the one and only Empire Dragway. Excited to have everybody along with us for this one. We got the invite to come and try to make something happen, and we are doing the best that we can with what we've got. Weather is in the area, and it is severely affecting our signal, but we're going to do what we can. Again, coming to you from Summitt Sportsman Weekend here at Empire Dragway. Fun Around Podcast coming to you. Got the one and only Jason Oldfield here. He's the one blocking the car that he's going to be driving this weekend. And Pete Maduri. Maduri? Yeah. I feel like I got it on the green there, all things considered.
You did pretty good.
But yeah, man, I appreciate you coming on short notice. You can see the race car behind you. Tell us about what your expectations are, for the weekend and being part of this big IHRA weekend here at Empire.
Yeah, this is definitely the big one in this area. Really the only national event within an hour from all of us, and I've won the last 2 years in Super Rod, so hoping to do the same.
2 years in a row you've won this race?
Yeah, actually
in
in
Super?
two different cars. Yeah, last year we won in that car. The year before was the older style vet. We had the red one.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, hopefully we can do it again.
So we're going for the three-peat here.
We're trying.
I would say the weekend hasn't so far. The weekend hasn't started off as you would have liked with fuel pump issues on the Mustang.
Right.
But
I had a few. We've been through 3 fuel pumps, and we've only been here for about 2 hours, so that's usually not a great start. But hopefully we'll bounce back from that. Everything seems to be working well now.
So I mean, usually at this point we try to make the joke about what's the worst that could possibly happen, but I don't know if we want to go there.
Well, yeah, probably not.
That's a rough start. I mean, to come in and win it the first time, what did that win mean to you guys as a team?
That was real special, actually, because that was our first actual IHRA win, divisional win. I was actually living in Texas at the time, working for Dynabrade. I was in the sales force out there, so real special to fly in, and it was just my girlfriend Bree and my father here, and it was a real special win.
Yeah, this is basically our home track, so it's nice to be able to. It's always nice to be able to win at your home track, right? And to win a big race and have it be your first win like that certainly is definitely had to be a special time.
Yeah, it's great to be at our home track and just see all these out of towners, all the hitters that come in. There's a lot of big names that will be here this weekend, especially with the big race Friday night for $5,000 and then the box race for $5,000. So I think we'll see a lot of big names out here.
Yeah, I expect the same thing. I mean, honestly, last year in the TNT Hot Rod Series, that $5,000 win race on Friday, we had 74 cars, something like that. And now last year, weather affected the box-no box race, so we didn't get a chance to get that in. But right now, the weather, aside from tonight, where it's kind of looking iffy, but the weather for the rest of the weekend didn't look bad, so I think we're going to get a pretty good schedule in. We'll be able to get this whole race in, including the box-no box race. So, now you and I were talking just briefly before we went on the air. I got to get this right. So tomorrow night in the
nothing else has gone right. So go ahead.
Yeah, right. So tomorrow night in the hot rod race, you're running the Dynabrade Corvette.
Yeah, I'll be running the Dynabrade Corvette behind us.
We're
second in the points right now.
Okay.
Trying to chase down that Coonley, who's the leader.
Right. Now, Mark Caruso is going to be driving the Dynabrade Mustang for you in the hot rod race?
That is the plan right now. Yeah, Mark Caruso, pro mod race, is supposed to be coming in. Pretty well known in this area. He's going to be driving the Mustang for the 5,000 to win TNT race.
Okay, and then on Saturday
gets a little hectic.
Well, this is where I want to get this straight, because it sounded really out of control. I had thought about double entering on Saturday and said, nah, it's just going to be too much work and I don't want to run around like a chicken with my head cut off. Right. But what you just told me sounded insane.
Kind of like a quadruple entry, I think, is what we're doing.
Well, that's what it sounded like.
So we're doing, we'll have the Dynabrade Dragster in quick rod, 570 index, the Vet behind us in 640 super rod, and then at night we'll be parking the Vet, we'll run the Mustang in no box, and then the Dragster in box. So that'll be 4 classes, yeah.
Now, are you going to be driving in box and no box? Are you going to be driving both?
Yeah, as of now, I'll be driving both.
And are you going to be driving both on Saturday too?
Correct, yep, I will.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
So yeah, it should be hectic, hopefully fun. We'll see what happens. It's usually real good or real bad when you're double entered or more, so.
Yeah, well, you certainly hope it's not real bad, right?
Right.
Because
4 first-round losses can happen. We've seen that before.
Yeah,
That's a long weekend.
Yeah, that is.
Oh, yeah.
And an hour
Yeah.
drive home seems like 12. So we'll see.
I
Yeah.
believe every bit of that. That
Yeah.
sounds awful.
Yeah, I know last year for me, we had my Corvette out here last year, and it was not a good weekend.
I do remember that. Yeah, that was one of the.
Yeah, I mean, I had the car, shorting out on me, and it was crazy. And I think overall of the 4 races, I think I won 1 round of racing out of four separate races. And yeah, that's not a fun weekend. It was
Right.
really aggravating. So yeah, hopefully you'll do a little better than I did last year. And I know we certainly have a little bit higher hopes this year than last year, though I have to say, last year going into this race, I felt really good. So you just never know. You think, oh yeah, we're loaded for bear, and geez, we haven't had any problems. Everything will go great. And the next thing you know, yeah, you've lost 4 times, and yeah, please get your junk and get out of here.
Right.
Man, what was your ride home like after that?
Oh,
he
it was-
said his hours felt like 12.
Oh, it was miserable. Yeah, I mean, it was miserable. When we got done, I said to myself, I told Phil Harnden, my car owner here, that overall, it was one of the worst weekends of racing that I had ever had. It was bad. I mean, just nothing went right, and it was really, really aggravating. So thankfully, it was only an hour ride home, because if it had been more, yeah, it would have been really nasty.
I mean, does it make you feel better when other competitors that still have the opportunity to run through the course of the afternoon come up to you and say, well, everybody has those kind of weekends. That happens to everybody once and again. Is that any type of solace?
No, it really isn't.
I think what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I mean, it's almost good to experience those weekends. We've had,
Right.
just aside from that, I'm just thinking we went to Norwalk earlier this year. Our car failed tech, so that was a 4-hour drive back home that felt like 3 days. I passed the scales one time at Grand Bend. That's another, you get disqualified if you go past the scales. So those are 2. Yeah, I guess what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Can't get
But when
over
you say
it.
it felt tech, I mean, they don't give you an opportunity to go fix that, or
No,
was it
we
just
would have
not
needed
fixable?
a welder. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, they will give you an opportunity to fix it, but yeah, depending upon what the severity is, in some
Yeah.
cases you're just better off to pack your stuff up and go home.
Yikes. So let's turn things back on to happier things.
Something
You
more
talked about,
positive?
yeah, you talked a little bit about what it meant to finally to win that and how meaningful it was. Is it harder to win the second one?
Well, this will be the 3rd one. The second
Well,
one.
no, the
was fun.
second. No, now we're moving.
Right.
We're gonna go in chronological order. Don't?
Okay.
So was it harder to win the second one than the first one?
No, I think the pressure was off a little bit on the second one. Yeah, kind of done it the first year, so expectations maybe were a little higher, but it just seemed to come a little easier. We were also chasing the points at that time, so it was a little bit more of an important win. It kind of had to do it, so it worked out, and hopefully it'll work out again this year.
So the second one, the pressure was off. The expectations were high, but the pressure was off, and now you're looking at picking up a 3rd in a row.
Right.
Is all the pressure back now? Is everybody looking to try and be the one that knocks Pete off?
Well, I think there's probably a little more pressure this year. This is our first year with Dynabraid as a sponsor, so it'll mean a lot if we can put the big D in the winner's circle. So I wouldn't say I would say there's definitely some pressure. Yeah.
Yeah, that's to win 3 is so hard to do.
Oh, there's no doubt. Yeah, there's no doubt. Winning 3 in a row would be just really incredible. I mean, winning 2 in a row is incredible, but winning 3 in a row, you start to get to, all right, that's really unheard of. And you look at the NHRA guys with the Western Swing, right? And how many guys have swept the Western Swing? And that's 3 races.
Right.
And it's a very, very small list of drivers that have done that over the course of 50 years. So, yeah, to win 3 races in a row is ridiculous. And, I mean, obviously, you win 2 in a row like Pete has, it pretty much tells you right off the bat that the guy knows what he's doing at this track.
Right.
He knows how this track reacts throughout the day. He knows what the weather does. He knows how the track comes and goes, surface comes and goes. And that's not to say that you won't necessarily get a curveball thrown your way, because it happens. But he's not going to be an easy out this weekend for sure.
So he's saying he's going to take it easy on me if we
That's
race
right.
each other.
Yes, exactly.
That's what I'm getting out of that.
You heard everything I did.
Right. Okay. Good. Yeah.
Yeah, we're on the same
Right.
page.
Yes, I'm just going to lay down and forfeit if it happens to be me and Pete racing each other.
I think that's
Hopefully in the
probably.
final. Yeah.
We hope.
I think that's probably a good decision.
Yeah, we'll
Just let it go.
just let it go.
Just don't
and,
fight it.
yeah,
So it'll be over faster.
I'll tell you what, if I get to the final after a disaster last year, if I get to the final this year, I'd consider that a victory this year for sure.
How did all of the preparations go for this year?
For us, it went well. Yeah, for us, it went real well. We were out here a couple weeks ago with the West New York Super Rod Association. We had one of our races, so we'll only be racing in Super Rod. Well, I guess that's not true. We'll only be racing in Super Rod on Saturday and Sunday, but tomorrow night we'll be racing in the TNT Hot Rod race. And we've done a couple of the TNT races this year, too. So we have some pretty good numbers overall for the 8th mile 7 flat index, so we feel pretty good. And yeah, so since the last race, we took the car home, we did some normal maintenance, made a couple of suspension tune-ups to it, and yeah, so we feel pretty good about the weekend going in.
Well, I mean, at this point, pretty much anything better than last year is going to be an improvement, right?
Oh, there's no doubt. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I lost at least one race last year where I never got off the starting line. So if I were to lose 4 times and at least was able to leave the starting line 4 times, that would be an improvement.
The number of drivers that are here now surprised me. Judging our conversations earlier this week, we didn't really know what was going to be here. But
when did you get here, Pete? Today?
We pulled in about 11 a.m. or about noon. Yeah, about noon we got here today. Figured we get a good parking spot, and know there's going to be a horde in the morning. Definitely will be a long line of people, I think.
Yeah, I was definitely surprised. I did not expect there to be this many people here. And but like you said, I mean, with no reserved pit spots, you want to try and get here, and I guess it's one of those home track advantages that we have. Yeah. You know, living an hour away, we can.
I always felt like actually getting in a good pit spot is a big deal. I mean, some people would laugh at that, but when you're here for the whole weekend, 3-4 days, if you're in a comfortable spot, I think it's kind of an advantage to be comfortable and ready to go.
Yeah, it's funny you mention that, really, because I've thought about that in the past, that it really shouldn't affect my mental state when I'm at the track, but it really does. If I show up someplace last minute and get the crappiest pit spot in the place, and I know it really does put me in a negative mood.
But that's that whole routine thing that we talked about last week.
Oh, sure.
When you get knocked off your routine,
there's no doubt.
It messes with you.
Yeah.
It's hard to recover from that.
Yeah, so you get here early, you take your time, you're nice and relaxed, and you're not thinking about stuff, and you're not aggravated because you're pulling your car in and out of the mud all the time. And now, again, we're pretty lucky here because overall it's been dry here at Empire for the last few weeks for the most part. So there really isn't, I guess I would at this point, probably a bad pit spot here, but you just never know, and it's nice to be on the pavement like we are.
Right, yeah, I agree, I do.
Especially when you're changing fuel pumps on Thursday afternoon.
Right, yeah, 3 times. 3.
That sounds horrible. Yeah. The whole thing just sounds horrible.
I had to change my shirt 3 times. I tried to get a nice one for the show, but
no one judges that.
Right.
You're fine. You got nothing to worry about on that front. But to build off what we were talking about earlier about the number of cars that are here and the drivers that are here, what else are we expecting in terms of the caliber? Because so many of the people that we had figured that were going to be here said that they're coming Saturday through the course of the day. This weekend's going to get progressive. This pit area anyway is going to get progressively more and more stacked. It's going to be much harder to race this thing on paper.
Yep. Yeah, there's no doubt.
It's real interesting too the way they're doing the points for the IHRA this year. It's just one national point series. So they started down in Florida back in February. So those guys were already racing, and then all the guys up north here, Division 1 and 3. We really didn't get started until, I guess, what was the first one? I believe was end of May. Right? Actually, I think it was into June. So a lot of guys from this area will be coming here as one of their last claims. So you're going to see, I guess, a lot of the guys that are further down in the points are now going to make their move here.
Now, where are you in the points? Let's call it nationally right now.
Yeah, I think we're about, I would say top 30 out of, I think there's about 150 people in there. We've only been to 2 races so far, so This will be our 3rd claim, and then we'll be going to Dragway 42 end of September.
Right.
So we're looking to improve that, but nothing real big this year. A couple first-round losses and a couple quarterfinal round finishes.
But last year, did you finish 2nd in Division 1?
Yes, finished 2nd by 1 point to that Doug Linden guy. Yeah.
Which I have to say, I didn't realize that the points were that close, honestly. It really wasn't until at the end of the season where I don't know where you guys were going. But
he was up 1 round on us. We made the trip down to Carolina Dragway Labor Day weekend, and we fell 1 point short. So it was pretty tight, but he's a great driver. It definitely deserved it. And then we both made the trip down to Memphis and did pretty well down there.
Those are both Western New York Super Rod Association competitors, by the way. I just had to throw that in there.
I've heard a couple of those names before.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Doug is. Let's see. So this year is 2017. So Doug was the 2015 IHRA Super Rod World Champ.
Yep. 2015. He was number 1 in the world. Yep. Can't get much better than that.
You cannot get much better than that. Then he came back and won Division I again.
Yep.
So I mean, again, obviously, here's another guy who it's not a flash in the pan. He's been successful or had success multiple seasons in a row. He's a tough competitor. A couple weeks ago at Pittsburgh, he got down to 5 cars when we were there in the big race, the $6,000 to win race. So yeah, I mean, he's again another tough competitor for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you do full time?
I actually work for Dynabrade. I'm the corporate trainer now for Dynabrade. So I got hired by them in 2012, moved down to Texas. I was a sales manager down there. Then moved up to Indy, transferred up there, was there for about a year, and now I'm back as a corporate trainer.
Gotcha.
So it's nice to have the company I work for sponsoring us and behind us.
Are you originally from this area?
Yeah, originally from Tonawanda, New York, about an hour from here, yeah.
So you went to Texas and then
San Antonio, yeah, I loved it down there. A little too far from family, but I met my soon-to-be wife down there, so it was well worth the trip. And then we spent about a year in Indy, which was nice, but no place like home for sure.
Sure.
So Pete's dad and uncle were racing back. I don't know. Your dad's probably not old enough to start in the 60s.
61 years old, so he started when he was 18. So you do the math. He's been around.
So I think him and your uncle. I think they started in the 70s.
Yeah, that would
racing.
sound right. Yeah.
And so Pete's dad, Pete Senior, used to race in Super Gas with us out at Lancaster on a weekly basis. And how long have you been? I mean, you've been driving for a while now, Pete. I mean, 10 years.
Yeah, I started in the juniors. I was 14. I just turned 30. So yeah, about 16, 17 years total.
Okay.
Now. Yeah.
And when did you hop in the big car at 16?
No, I was actually 18 when I stepped in. I had a Roadster that we raced for a year.
Okay.
So that was first time I was in a full size car.
So yeah, the Maduris are a fairly well-known drag racing family in the area. They've been out here competing for a long, long time. And then Pete, I have to say, Pete Jr. Really is, I think I'd call it, this is no disrespect to your dad because he certainly had some success and did some traveling as well. But I have to say, Pete Jr.'s really, I think, stepped up the program as well. I mean, how many national event wins do you have at this point, Pete?
We have IHRA. We really have just been chasing IHRA. So
right,
IHRA,
right.
We got 5 divisional national wins, 1 NHRA divisional win. And then, mainly a lot of the local racing we did, we had 10 track championships total.
Well, and I know you have, the big dollar bracket races too. You do a lot of bracket racing.
Yeah, a little bit of those too. Yeah, they got a couple good ones in the area now. So we were at ESTA about a month ago. We were able to win the high roller race there for $3,000. So,
did you pick up any tips down in Texas?
I was going to say, I learned a lot down there.
Seems
really,
like that's a place to learn some things.
It is, yeah. I got my butt kicked pretty good down there. And honestly, it was a good thing. I really learned a lot when I was down there. I feel a lot more prepared, especially for these national and divisional events where you got to be, the next step up for sure.
I mean, we've heard the state of Texas come up in all these different conversations when we talked with Mike O.C.
Yep.
and all the stuff with
Yep.
No Prep, and then we've heard about it when we talked with Will Steinbeck last week and where he's at and his interest level with what they're doing down there in terms of the street racing programs
Right.
and things like that. So it certainly is one of those places where if you're looking to challenge yourself because your waters have gotten too shallow at home, it's one of those places you can look at relocating to. But I was just under the assumption that Pete was just a full-time career racer, got to drive all over the country and race.
I'd love that. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
I would say hopefully Dynabrade management is watching and sees that Pete is all in on that.
Or we hope that Dynabrade management is watching or isn't watching and assumes that when he had the computer up in the pit area here doing whatever corporate training he had to do today, they assumed that he was in his office and he had to burn the day off.
Right.
No, we took it off. They knew this is a pretty big event, so we're hoping to really. We're actually doing a little mini sponsor thing with the series tomorrow night. First round loser with the best reaction time gets a free Dynabrade tool. So hopefully we can get some of these tools in some people's hands and they can see, what great value it is.
Yeah, I would say we really didn't touch on what exactly it is that Dynabrade does. I mean, I know, and I think that a lot of guys, from around the area know, and anybody that does body work probably certainly knows. But for our normal viewer, what exactly is it that Dynabrade does?
Really, just a premium abrasive power tool. So any kind of deburring or finishing. We started with a belt tool called the Dynafile, which you've probably seen before. Orbital sanders, die grinders, disc sanders. It's really one of the biggest hidden secrets in this area. Everything is manufactured right outside of Buffalo. Comes with a lifetime warranty, so it's a premium tool made for industrial purpose, and really a second to none out there. We're really the worldwide leader in industrial power tools right now.
And they've been involved, I don't know about outside of drag racing, but I know they've been involved in drag racing for quite a while.
Yeah, a few different sponsorships over the years. They sponsored John McGowan, who was a pretty well-known super gas racer for years. But that was about it, yeah. They did a little sponsorship with my sister and I back in 2008, and then kind of got him back on board this year, and it's worked out real well so far.
I would say you may not have known this, but I actually have a picture with the Dynabrade D on the side of my Corvette.
There you go. Nice.
I would say there was one season that Dynabrade actually sponsored me as well.
Excellent.
Yeah. So they like I said, they've been a long-time supporter of local drag racing, and yeah, it's great. I mean, I have to say that prior to John McGowan getting involved, I had never heard of Dynabrade because I'm just not in the industry, so I wasn't aware of them. But yeah, you get out to their facility and you're like, wow, here's a really nice manufacturer in the area. And we're always talking about, especially in the Western New York area, the lack of jobs and stuff like that.
Right.
And here's a really great business that, quite frankly, doesn't get, in my opinion, the ink that they really should.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, we sell to 93 countries, and again, everything's manufactured right outside of Clarence, New York. So it's really pretty amazing.
Yeah,
a lot of people don't know about it.
Yeah, that really is. It really is incredible. It's nice, and it's nice because there's a lot of guys out here, obviously, that are either mechanics or body shop guys that use their tools on a daily basis. So it really makes sense. Dynabrade is really marketing to the market right here at the track. So it definitely makes sense. I would say.
There it goes. Did you want to walk through in more detail the schedule that we're looking at for this weekend?
So yeah, I mean tomorrow is really starting with a test and tune. Gates open at noon, and it starts with a test and tune tomorrow. And then really everybody, I think, that's going to be, for the most part, here tomorrow is going to be racing in the hot rod event, and that's and it's not to take away from the IHRA events, because all of us want to win the IHRA events as well and go home with the IHRA Ironman or whatever they're calling it these days. But you know, the $5,000 to win hot rod race is a big deal. There's so many sponsors that are involved with that race too. So there's got to be, I bet, 50 different prizes that are being awarded.
There's a lot, yeah.
Which makes it really nice from the competitor standpoint, because you have the winners, runners up, best reaction times, closest to the dial. There's just so many different prizes that are out there. So that's pretty much going to make up the bulk of tomorrow, is that hot rod race. And then once we get into Saturday, then it's the standard IHRA race. Where you'll have, super rod, hot rod, quick rod, super stock, top sportsman, and top dragster running. And then at the end of the night is going to be the box, no box, $5,000 to win race.
That's that gambler's race, right?
That's the gambler's race, yeah. And I have to say that the payout is really pretty darn good for that race too. It's based on an 80 card field, but
I would think that, yeah.
Oh, they're easily going to get 80 cars,
yeah.
Yeah, easily.
Not gonna have to worry on that one.
Nope. Yeah, and the round money, if I remember correctly, I think the third round, I want to say, was around $150 or something like that. It was good money.
Yeah.
This is
That's
the brochure for the TNT hot rod race. Yep.
Gotcha.
That's based on no minimum car count, but like we said last year, they had 72. I would think they'd have be on the north side of that this year.
Yeah,
definitely 72 or more.
Yeah, I'd be shocked if they didn't have that. And the weather forecast again looks good for this weekend. So, that was a picture of Roy Lister's car. Roy and Tara are actually sponsoring that race to make the $5,000 payout possible. So. Thanks to Roy and Tara for stepping up and doing that for us. But you can see the list of sponsors down at the bottom of that.
done some work.
There's a whole bunch. There's a whole bunch of them. Ted's been working his butt off on trying to arrange all of this and make it a good race for all the racers, really.
No weight minimum on that. Open-bodied left-hand steer cars allowed. Super rod cars are welcome. All other rules per the hot rod rules of the IHRA. rule book? Do they have to follow the IHRA rules, given that it's their weekend here?
No, and that's the nice thing about that's the nice thing about Ted's series. So normally, I mean, again, you can see Pete's car behind him. Not too well because we're kind of blocking it, unfortunately. But
I did the deal for a second, Pete.
So Pete's car is a left-hand steer roadster that normally would not be allowed in hot rod. It's allowed in super rod, but not in hot rod. And that's the nice thing about the TNT series is that Ted relaxes those rules and says, you know what, we'll allow super rod cars. We'll allow basically no minimum weight. So those types of cars can get in it. Normally, you're talking about a full-body car, 2,600 pounds or heavier in IHRA, or 2,800 pounds or heavier in NHRA. So that's why you get 72 cars out here running.
Right.
So when you have that no weight and you've got such what appears to be, at least visually, such a drastic change from one car to another, how do you try and balance that out? Because are you just simply looking at your ET and that's it? And you're not worrying about the rest of that stuff because you got to go. You got to hit your number anyway.
Well, you have to hit your number anyway, sure. But I think there's a reason why Pete tomorrow night is racing his Corvette in hot rod and not racing the Mustang in hot rod. Now he's got the Mustang too, which he's going to race on Saturday. And in that case, it'll be a legal hot rod car. But being the faster car definitely has its advantages from a standard ET race standpoint. So, you got to hit your number. Does it mean that you can't win with a slower car? No, it doesn't. But, the veteran racers out here, we generally know that, being the faster car generally has its advantages. So
it's easier to slow down at the line than it is to catch up.
Oh, there's no doubt. Yeah, there's no doubt.
I was going to say the Mustang's about 98 miles per hour at the 7.0 index. The Vet here is almost 120. So big difference there.
Yeah, that's
but still the same exact ET. Just the throttle stop settings.
Yeah. So but again, it's nice because of the fact that you open it up and you allow a whole bunch of people to race in the class. Mm-hmm. And we were out at Lancaster, I'm going to say 3 weeks ago, running one of these races, and Steve McCarrick was there with his old 56 Chevy. Mm-hmm. I got Phil Harnden over here that told me exactly what it was. I knew it was a 55 to 57. Wasn't exactly sure what it was.
He's our producer.
Yes, he's our producer at the moment. So anyways, so Steve McCarrick was out here with his probably 3,200-pound 56 Chevy. I want to say he went 4 or 5 rounds. There was a whole bunch of really good racers that he raced with cars that were a lot faster than him, and he put them on the trailer. So you can definitely do it. There's nothing that says that you can't.
Sure.
And, from a racer standpoint, I want more cars. The more cars, the better you can make the payout. So
exactly,
the more the merrier.
That's always true. I mean, looking at that 5,000 win number for that, and that's not car contingent either. So
that is not.
Is that locked in at 5,000, or is there potential that goes up?
No, that's locked in at 5,000. So anything over whatever.
Gets $1,000.
What was that?
Runner-up gets $1,000. Semi-finalists $500, and quarterfinalists get $100.
Right.
They're paying back. So that would be what, top 8?
Yeah, top 8 exactly. Yep. Yeah. So you got to go. I want to say 3 rounds. 3 rounds to get your money back somewhere in there.
They are doing buybacks as well for that race. So
yeah,
a lot of rounds you're gonna have to go to be the guy.
I forget what time they finished.
It was actually my father and myself both made it to 8 cars. He lost to Jacob Elrod, who's the world champion right now. And then I actually had to race Jacob. I beat him, and then Pete Dagnello won in the final, won the 5,000.
And what time was that at?
I'm trying to think. I think that was had to be around midnight, I would say. I would guess. It wasn't crazy late. At least midnight.
I think it was later than that.
Might have been.
I think it was later than that, honestly, because I think I remember literally going to sleep and saying, I can't make it any longer.
It might have been a little bit. Yeah.
But it's a good story to tell your grandkids later on, right? It was 3 a.m. and we were pulling in the winner's circle for pictures.
Right, yeah.
Pete had his Malibu out over here for a little while.
He did. We tried to get Pete Dagnall on the show too, but
this is the better Peter, in my opinion.
Well,
just kidding. No, he's in my opinion right now. He's probably one of the best drivers there is on the face of the earth. The guy's really he's done stuff that people with 30 and 40-year careers have never even thought about accomplishing. It's really nice to be able to call him one of the guys we see on a local basis here, and just well known throughout the country right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he is definitely a tough competitor, but camera shy.
Is he?
Yeah. You wouldn't. I don't know. I think we need to get a few pops in him, and
I was
then
gonna say, you do that, and then he's not shy around anybody.
right.
Yeah.
But yeah, super good driver for sure.
He's got enough of a bullseye on him. We don't need to make it worse by putting him on here.
Right. Yeah.
But there's no doubt that Pete Maduri here, he's holding his own too. It's not like we didn't settle for runner-up in the racer of the better Pete's here. I mean, either one.
I don't think anybody said that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, what have you won just this year, Pete?
We haven't had a great year this year. We have one TNT race win at Lancaster. Like I said, that money race win at ESTA, the high roller race, and then we have 2 other local wins at Lancaster. So nothing on the big stage really yet this year. Hopefully we'll change it this weekend.
And see, he's considering that to be a crappy season, right? It's like, yeah, I only have 4 wins this year. It really hasn't been that good of a season. But I think one of the reasons is that you broke a motor, right?
We're actually on motor number 3 in the vet. Broke the first one, and we had a small issue with the other one. It wasn't broke, but we decided to put this new one in, and it's been running real well so far. So I think this will be the one, hopefully, that stays in the rest of the year. My dad said that's enough.
What happened to the first one?
The first one was bad. We actually broke it here, the opening TNT race. Complete blow up. We lost everything. Really salvaged the intake and the heads, and that's it. So it was pretty rough.
Holes in the blocks kind of blow up?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Nice.
It was a rough one, yeah.
Now, what motor's in the Corvette now?
Right now it's a 493-inch big block Chevy, yeah. So nothing crazy. You see a lot of these guys are well over 600 inches now, but this is a pretty reliable engine, and about 550 it runs off the stop in the 8th mile.
That's serious.
Oh yeah, that's a fast car for sure. And again, you think about it. I mean, and just in an 8th mile, so 570 is the index for quick rod or super comp, and that's an 890 index in the quarter mile. So he's running 550 in the 8th. So it was certainly that car could run probably 870s, 860s,
870s, yeah,
all day.
Yeah.
And then everyone's slowing their car down with throttle stops to get them down to 990 in the quarter, or in this case 640 in the 8th. So it's a stout car, no doubt.
Wow.
Now, one of the really nice things about this case is that Phil's car. We can see Phil's car in the background too. So Phil's car with me in it, we're right around 2,250 pounds. What are you, or 2,300 pounds, somewhere in there. But what are you at, Pete, with the Roadster?
You wouldn't believe, but 2415 with me in it.
Yeah, that's a big block. That's light.
Yeah.
That's pretty darn light. So, and that's a nice thing, is that you get yourself a Roadster. Not only do you get yourself the better vision, but you lose some weight there, getting rid of the roof too.
Are the big displacement big blocks, are they lighter than the smaller displacement ones?
They're actually hevier. Usually when you go from
so much more bored out.
Right, when you go from the stock GM block up to the aftermarket block, right there's about 80 pounds. So you're usually, I know I actually weighed the dragster with the GM block, and we were at 1935. We put an aftermarket one in, and we were well over 2,000. So that holds pretty true. So you are a little more weight, but the amount of the cubic inches you can get out of these new aftermarket blocks are huge.
But I gotta believe that, taking nothing away from what the blocks are and their durability and their longevity, the more you bore it out, the thinner the walls get.
Yep.
The thinner the walls get, the more heat transfers, and that just leads to all sorts of problems. And you said that you were more focused on the reliability and the efficiency that this motor is running at. So is there any plans to put something that's bigger in there, or is this where you want to be?
No, actually for next year I already got the short block bought, so we're going to put, it's going to be a 565-inch motor in there. So I think it'll still be reliable, a little faster, but still reliable. Nothing crazy.
And are you doing that just with the internals, or are you going to have to
it's going to use the same heads, and then the short block is just going to be a bigger bore. Yeah, everything's aftermarket, so yeah.
And I have to say, the 565, that's a really good combo.
It is.
That's proven to be extremely reliable, high power motor. I mean, that honestly, you can go up to the 632s and start doing stuff like that. But I really love the the 555 and the 565 combos. They're bulletproof to a certain extent.
I do agree. Yeah, they actually in the dragster we have a 632 and really not much faster.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm pretty sure Phil's car is a small block until the end of time. There's probably a better chance of me putting a 555 or 565 in the Corvette than there is in Phil's Camaro. And that's not a very good chance either.
Zero chance.
Oh yeah, that's a pretty low chance.
What's in the Corvette?
That's a 406 in the Corvette.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that car's always been a small block, and I've gone back and forth with, oh geez, maybe I'd like to put electronic fuel injection on it. I'd love to put a turbo on it. I'd love to do different things. And every time I start going down this path, you look at the cost and what I'm working with, and I always come back to the same conclusion. Are you crazy? Why are you even thinking about doing this? Just leave it alone.
Valid.
And if you want to do something like that, go out and buy yourself a dragster and go do that, right? But to try and do it with an original stock 63 Corvette, you're crazy trying to do that.
Yeah.
I just think it's cool how big these motors can get, you know.
They're ridiculous.
In my circles, basically, the biggest thing you hear about is a 355 or a 383. Somebody's taking a 350, a 355, and space it out to being a 383. Periodically, you come across a 400 Mopar or a 440, but nobody's done anything to it. It's just as plain as original. And this, you know, the faith that you have and the motor builders, and I know you're paying them for a service and you expect that piece to produce, the faith that you have in them and putting the tunes to them and stuff like that. Whether you're running for ET or whether you're trying to hit a particular number, depending on what bracket you're running in, still, it's just that motor's still working hard and it's still producing heat, and they're holding together.
Oh yeah. Well, now, and Pete, I don't know if the dragster you're going to run in quick rod, right?
Yep.
Do you have any plans of potentially going top dragster racing with?
Yeah, that would easily. Last year we ran top dragster. That would off the stop that goes about 740. So even without the nitrous, we're well in the ET restriction for top dragster, which is a max dial of 770 now. So we kind of go back and forth. I kind of like, since we're running super rod on the pro tree, quick rod's also a pro tree. So rather than go back and forth between two different trees, keep everything consistent. So we're gonna stick with quick rod this weekend.
Now I don't remember, is nitrous legal in IHRA and super rod and quick rod?
It is not. No.
Okay.
It was up. I was gonna say probably until late 90s. Nitrous was legal.
Right.
Which really kind of threw another twist in there because you got guys at top end spraying and real hard to judge. But yeah, that's been illegal now. I would say at least the last 12 or 15 years.
Yeah, I wasn't 100% sure of that. I was pretty sure it was illegal now. But
yeah, so that's a good point. We have to unhook it because we have it hooked up right now to the dragster. So we'll have to take the bottle off and unhook the fuel lines, nitrous lines.
But here's the craziness with regards to top dragster and top sportsman. I'll just talk about top dragster. So the fastest you can go in top dragster is 6 flat in the quarter mile. That is the absolute fastest. The cars aren't certified to go any faster than that. Okay. Now, if you think about it, 6 flat in the quarter mile is ridiculously fast. These guys are going 220, 240 miles an hour. Was it Indy?
Indy, yeah, the divisional in Indy this
last
past
week.
Weekend.
The bump was 648.
It was 645 going into the last session, and I'm honestly not sure where it ended up. I thought it was just about 640 flat. So you had about the top 10 guys right at 6.0. And the crazy thing about that is most of those cars can go faster than 6 flat. If you qualify faster than 6 flat, the run's thrown out. So you could go 599 and you go right to the bottom of the sheet. So these guys, it's almost like an index class. They're all just shooting for 6
Is that an
flat.
automatic loss if you do it in the race?
Yes.
So
yes.
if you do a 599, you're done no matter what. That's an elimination.
You know, well,
that's a great question, and
you know,
it just happened. I'm not sure the answer to that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I don't know. So if somebody red lights and then you run it out the back door and run 599, I don't know if you're tossed or not. I mean,
first is worst.
Well, typically, yeah, but
that's a good question. I honestly know it happened to Kathy Fisher. There was a post. I'm not sure if I know she ran 599 on a 6 flat in the final, and she lost the race, but I don't know if it was because she broke out by a little more or if it was because she went 599. But I do remember.
But if you break out in the finals, the worst you have to worry about being a second. You're not thrown out from the whole thing.
Yeah,
right?
but this is well, yes, yeah, you're not going to get disqualified from the entire race.
Right.
The worst you're going to take is runner up. But in this particular case, you're talking about not only breaking out on, let's call it. This is not really an index class. You're talking about going faster than an
what they've certified your car to go.
What they've certified, right, from a safety standpoint. So
something went wrong at 599.
Right. So it wouldn't surprise me, honestly, that if your competitor red lighted and you went down and went 599, that you lose. That wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah.
Because they really do have to try to enforce that. And it hasn't taken long for Top Dragster over the last few years for it get to the point where, like Pete said, at this point, it's pretty much a 6.0 index class now. Everyone's basically pushing it right to the very limit.
Jeez. It's crazy to think where it's going to be in another 5 or even 10 years. I mean, how much faster can they go, and how many more cars are you going to have that can just go 6 flat? It'll just be a 6 flat index class, I guess.
Yeah, and I don't know what, I honestly don't know what they would do to certify the cars faster. I mean, at that point in time, do they make them have to have Top Fuel style chassis? I don't really know. I haven't the slightest idea. All I know is that looking back, I'm a little bit older than Pete here, so I mean, I remember as a I remember being back.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. I remember being back in the 70s, you know, watching late 70s and early 80s, and watching guys like, you know, Dom Prudhomme in his, you know, fuel funny car running 570s and 580s. And that was quickest one to the finish line on nitromethane. You got guys bracket racing cars that now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's incredible.
But you were saying, like, where's it going to go in 5 or 6 years? There's been a bunch of the classes that in our conversations that we question if 5 or 6 years they're even going to be around anymore. This one, it might just be like your description, Pete, is it's just going to be an index class.
Yeah.
Because there are going to be so many cars that are so tight to that. If you could, you know, you can pack a bunch of them on top of each other when you're going out to thousands, even 10,000ths of a second.
Right.
You can stack a bunch of them.
Yeah, I agree, yeah.
Yeah, and that was one of the arguments that we had from Super Rod competitors about being able to go faster before Top Sportsman, at least on the NHRA side, before Top Sportsman really was a class that these guys could compete at. It's like, look, I have my car. I want to go fast because I enjoy going fast, and I really have no other place to do it other than to run Super Gas, so that's what I'm doing. Now you have a lot of the guys have left Super Gas and gone over to Top Sportsman because it gives them a chance now to run their cars flat out. And you know, what are guys going to do? I don't really know. I mean, Super Rod or Super Gas, I have to say that I think has a limited lifetime as far as a class goes, because more and more guys.
Is that talking nationally or is that across the board? I mean, even local tracks are going to be in trouble.
Well, I think across the board, I think, just because of the fact that, you know, guys want to go fast, and you know, 990 these days really isn't that fast anymore. For God's sakes, it's super easy to buy yourself a tube chassis car and a mild motor and put it together, and you're running easily well into the 8s.
Let's build one.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna sponsored by Final Round.
American Express.
Yep.
Well, yeah, and I say it's fairly simple, right? But you're still looking fairly expensive. You can buy a used rolling chassis for, let's call it 15, 20 grand. Yeah. But you go out and buy a motor, you're going to be, again, used 15 grand at least. Yeah, I don't happen to have.
That's not all. All you did, you just used up somewhere around $30,000. That's not all the budget. I mean, that's
oh no, yeah, no. I mean, at $30,000, I have no way to get my car to the track right now. I don't have a transmission in it.
I hope you don't ever wear out tires.
Right. Yeah. So it's not. Yeah, and I shouldn't, I guess, make it such that it's so little money, but it really isn't all that expensive compared to the way it used to be.
Now you have these Super Rod cars that are, you know, in the quarter mile, they're going 170 plus.
Right.
It's just amazing. I mean, to go 170 plus, you're talking let's call it 730, 740 in the quarter. So they fit right into Top Sportsman, and these guys are running Super Gas. Yeah. Super Gas, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you know who the fastest car is going to be out here this weekend?
Pete Maduri.
No, definitely not even close. Trying to think. I would say probably Jacob Elrod. I know he's about 167, so he's probably about I would say 760, 750. Yeah. Charlie Kanapic usually comes down from Ottawa. He's pretty fast as well. I would say he's probably in that 165 mile per hour range.
Yeah.
Where's the guy from Lucas going to fall?
Yeah, Dwayne.
He's pretty fast.
Yeah, Dwayne's car's pretty fast too.
I think he told me that goes about 510 off the stop. So that's 790s in the quarter.
Yeah, so there'll be a few for sure.
Yeah,
sweet. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a good weekend.
Now it does run an 8. We're running 8th mile, though,
that's
so
correct.
So it will even it out just a little bit, but it's still. I mean, you're going to have guys like for instance myself. I'll be running, let's call it 110 miles an hour in the 8th mile. These guys are going to be going 130, 135. The fastest guys. So. there's still going to be a significant speed difference, but just not as great as it normally would be.
Well, this is coming up here as part of the Summitt Sportsman National Championship Weekend at Empire Dragway. 8th mile, the distance, as we just said, Friday, August the 18th. That's tomorrow. The gates open at noon. There's the tech opens at 1. TNT 1090, the $5,000 qualifying round. They're having 2 rounds. Those go off at 4:30. More testing and tune passes from 5 until 10. Saturday on the 19th. Tech is going to wrap up after the second qualifying session. It opens at 8 o'clock. The Sportsman qualifying will run 2 rounds. It starts at 9 a.m. And then Sportsman Elimination Race 1 come after the second qualifying session. So if you're here, pack a lunch. You're going to be here all day. Sunday on August the 20th, same thing, same schedule for the most part. Sportsman qualifying kicks off at 9:30, and then eliminations follow. After qualifying car and driver, it's $150 per event. Junior dragsters are $75 per event. Weekend crew is $50 or Sunday only for $20. That also includes Empire's own box no box gamblers race, which is $5,000 to win, and then the program that we talked about Friday. The TNT guys are going to be racing for $5,000 on Friday. 7-0 index racing as advertised at its finest at Empire Dragway. Easy to get here, so make sure you get out here, check it out, come and support this track. And that $5,000 is contingent on 80 entries, and it's a no-brainer that they're going to hit that mark.
Yeah, I honestly, I don't know if the payout changes for that.
They're doing, it's a combined, so the winner of no box and the winner of box run off for the 5,000. So that's 80 cars total. I would think easily on the north side of 125 will get total.
Well, yeah, and that's what I was thinking too, that I'd be shocked, honestly, if they didn't have over 120 cars.
There's a lot of no box guys coming in just for that race. So
Right.
I would think they're going to be, it'll be a great turnout.
Yeah, Phil and I haven't discussed, I guess, whether or not we're running the box, no box race on Saturday night. I think we'll wait to see how Friday night and Saturday goes before we make a decision as to whether or not we're going to punish ourselves there too. I would say he's not making. You can see he's not making eye contact. He doesn't want to give. He's not making a commitment.
The answer is no. Yeah.
On the plus side, if you did go do that no box race and happen to win, that $5,000 would put a nice dent into that motor he was talking about.
Oh yeah.
So good.
Good conversation.
Yeah, it's good. Well, I would say, yeah. I mean, it will. Well, it'll probably start earlier than midnight, but I would guess that eliminations for that race probably will be at least 9, 10 o'clock, right?
It's going to be hard for you.
I would guess, yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah, probably 9 o'clock. Hopefully the weather stays good. I know Sunday looks good. Tomorrow looks good. Saturday I saw maybe a little but.
Yeah, and I have to say, after, we're going to test, for us, we're going to test tomorrow, and then we're going to do the hot rod race. By Saturday, we're going to be first race of the super rod race. And by tomorrow, Saturday night at 9 o'clock, I think I'm going to be ready for an adult beverage and to kick back and relax and watch my buddy Pete go make passes and try and kick everybody's butt.
Is the test and tune, is that in any way limited on time by division, or do you just kind of get out there and make as many passes as you want to?
They have a lane for the different trees, so they'll have a lane for full tree, which would be your stock, super stock, and then also top sportsman, top dragster. Mm-hmm. Then they'll have a 4/10 tree for quick rod and super rod, and then another lane for hot rod, which most of the guys will be running in the TNT race. So
yeah, it should be. It'll be a busy weekend for sure. Yeah, and
how many passes are you going to get in before you decide a car is dialed in?
Well, I think it depends on the car. For us, honestly, 3 tops really for us. We made a slight suspension change, so we want to make sure that the car is reacting, going straight, and acting consistent.
You gotta correct that.
Yeah, well, so if it does that, really after 2 runs, you make 2 runs and the car has gone straight and it's consistent. Now at this point, it's a matter of, do you want to make a third pass to potentially just fine-tune your combination for the upcoming race that night? But otherwise, some guys, they might just make 1 shakedown pass just to make sure everything's okay if they haven't raced in a while and be done.
You going to make any? You don't need to?
No, with running the TNT deal, we'll just make the 2 qualifiers for there. We're pretty set for super rod. So
you're not even going to run you're not even going to test and tune with the Mustang after the fuel pump issue?
No, hopefully Caruso can figure out if it works while he's racing an elimination. No, it should be good. The dragster we're going to test. We actually got a brand new motor in that. So has not been down the track yet.
I was gonna say, I thought I saw on Facebook just earlier this week.
Yeah, we dropped it in. Was it Saturday morning? Joe Bonifero up at Joe's Transmission did the engine work, and we just dropped it in. So it sounds great. Hopefully it'll run and stay together.
It's always good.
Now was
Two
that
good plans.
I would say that. Now you said that's a brand new motor.
I mean, everything is brand new except for the heads. Yeah, that's all brand new pistons, brand new rods, brand new crank. Block has been freshly repaired. We had a blow up last season with it, broke a rod, so everything is brand new, and we're hoping it makes a little more power now too. Compression's a little higher.
And now you said you're going to have a little bit of a corporate thing out here at the track with Dynabrade.
No, they're doing the sponsorship for the TNT deal tomorrow night, just for the first round loser, a free orbital sander. So.
Right. Which will be, I mean,
we are hoping to get a few of the corporate guys out here though, with it being so close. Our headquarters are only an hour away, so
sure.
A couple guys would like to come out and see what it's all about.
Yeah, you should definitely get them out the track. It's a good time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really nice.
You do one of those with Banner.
I did one a couple of weeks ago with Banner. Yeah, we had 140 people that RSVP'd. I don't know what the actual count was with the number of the people that came out here, but the customers really enjoyed themselves. And it's nice because of the fact that it's not like a NASCAR race where you're cordoned off from the fans. I mean, the fans can walk right up to the car, right into the pit area, and it's really nice from that standpoint. And so yeah, anybody that's never been to a drag race before, I definitely recommend it. And for us, this is a great race to come out because you see a lot of different style cars, and there will be a lot of competitors out here. I mean, certainly for your money, from a spectator standpoint, you'll get your money's worth, especially if you come on Saturday. Yeah, you'll be here from early in the morning until 2 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, if you want. If you want to hang out that long, right? I'm going to try and win my. Well, you said it was first round loser though, right? With the
best reaction time, first round loser. Yeah. It's
so
a $300 orbital sander, though, so you can't go wrong.
I would say I was going to try and get myself that orbital sander, but I really don't want to lose first round to get it. So.
Well, there's buyback, so you can get a sander and be back in.
There we go.
That's some good logic.
That is some good logic. I was saying buybacks are only $75.
You got to nail the tree and then just coast.
Yep.
Fist pumping the whole way.
Yep.
Well, we have fought some adversity today. This has been giving me alerts about dropped frames like crazy. For a second there, it looked like we had cleared off a little bit, but sure enough, we're coming right around to the top of the 5 o'clock hour. Any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Well, nothing for me, but yeah, I'd certainly like to, hear any final thoughts from our defending Super Rod champion here.
Thanks. I've watched the show a few times now. Great show, and I appreciate you having me on here. And hopefully we can have a good weekend. Hopefully we see a good turnout fan-wise.
I would say this has worked out well. Hopefully we could get you, Pete, at some point to come up to the studio. I realize it's a bit of a haul, but get you and your dad hop in the car, and I'll meet you in Rochester, and the three of us could drive out there. And it's.
I don't anticipate coming into the issues that we've had today either. In the studio, it's a bit more of a controlled environment. I don't know how it is that we've traveled only an eighth of a mile and gone from having the best service that we could ask for to having nothing. Just ghost town. And it's not even a quarter mile, right? We're an eighth mile away.
Well, we're not a quarter mile for sure. The scoreboards are behind us, so yeah, we're not quite a quarter mile away from the tower. A little more than an eighth, but not quite a quarter.
Oh, still frustrating. But we pulled it off. I mean, we came here with a goal and we accomplished it. I'm going to make some phone calls on the way back out of here back to Finger Lakes 1 to see what the on-demand viewing would be like. It should be able to essentially self-correct itself, because what we're putting up to it should be there without the drops, theoretically. And then it's also, we recorded everything locally too, so we should be able to fix it one way or another, whatever we've got to do. But Pete, I appreciate you coming on the show, hanging out with us for a little while, bringing your car over. That was awesome. Jason, good luck this weekend.
Hey, thank you.
Everybody that's running, hopefully everybody stays safe. That is going to do it for this one. Not this time from the North Park building at Academy Square. This time from the Empire Dragway here in Leicester for the second time live. Appreciate that. Again, it's the Summitt Sportsman National Championship Weekend here at Empire. Get out there, jump on Empire Speedway or EmpireDragway.com for more details. We'll see everybody back here again, I would believe, next Thursday probably. We got to stay on schedule next Thursday. We'll catch up with some of the winners and talk to all the folks that found success and some of the folks maybe that unfortunately didn't here at the Sportsman Nationals. We'll see everybody again next time.